Alright, so it's been quite a while now since I replaced the transmission mount on the WJ. I replaced that probably a few months ago by now with a stronger joint because the stock style joint was completely shot. I actually still have that sitting around here. So that's the stock joint. It was totally ripped apart after like 6 months. So anyway, I replaced that with a heavy duty joint from IronMan4x4. And it's been working great. When I got that, I also got the heavy-duty motor mounts from IronMan4x4, but I never got around to putting those in. So I have those here. These are their heavy-duty motor mounts, which are still a rubber style mount, but doesn't have all that extra airspace and play that the stock mounts have. And so I decided that I need to get these put in, because I was watching another YouTube channel and he was talking about replacing the transmission and the motor mounts, and he made a good point that you don't want a stiffer mount on one and the stock more flexible mount on the other, because in my case the stiffer mount on the transmission and on the motor mount, the torque is different, so you could have, you're creating stresses along the transmission and the engine, because the engine is allowed to move a little bit more than the transmission, and so you can actually end up twisting your transmission housing and stuff, and that's probably not good. So anyway, I think I should probably get these installed. I was planning on installing them eventually anyway, but I after thinking about that a little bit more, I decided it's time to get these installed, so that's what I'm going to try and do tonight. Alright, so here's the motor mounts we're going to be replacing. Looks like the easiest way to get them is from the bottom of the engine, and it looks like my motor mounts, it's kind of hard to tell here, but it looks like that rubber might be a little ripped already. It's sitting kind of high in this thing here, so that means the engine's sitting lower than it should be. But anyway, it looks like there's 2 there, and I think there's 1 more on the other side, so 3 bolts, and then this bolt, and same thing on the other side. Like I said, it looks like the rubber is ripped there, so it looks like these motor mounts are pretty shot anyway. I'll know more once I get them out, but first things first, I need to support the engine somehow, because I need to lift it up so I can get these out. So let me figure that out. Alright, so I got the engine on a jack with a block of wood under the oil pan there. I don't want to push it up too much because I don't want to lift the entire vehicle on that. This side, the instructions that I found say to take the oil filter off, and that might be because there is a bolt right back there. Oh, there it is up top. Yeah, right up top up there. You probably can't see it, but it's right there. I've heard some people say they've been able to get that without the oil filter off, so I'm going to see what I can do. First thing, I'm going to try and take this bolt out and get that out of there, and then we'll work on these. There we got the rear turning. So I'm going to go around back and see what I can see. Okay, that seems to have worked. Oh, there we go. So this is like an extension with just a little wobble in it, and so that allowed me to get it on there not quite straight through the in between this little thing. See, this little extension, oh, stuck up in there still. Let me get the bolt out, then I'll show you the extension. Alright, I think my socket is trapped in there, so I'm going to get these other ones out and see if I can get it off just when the mount comes off. But I'm going to have to remember that And I put that back in too to get that socket up in there. Alright, I got all the bolts out. That one at the top, like I said, is still my socket is kind of jammed in there, but I'm pretty sure it's out. I just need to, there we go, wiggle it around and get it out. So anyway, this socket, there we go. Alright. It's actually not the socket, this is what I used. So this extension is actually a, it looks normal, but if you pull it out, it's got a little wobble to it. And same thing with this one. So by using that, I was able to get that up in there with that little wobble, just that little bit on the end. Let me put it in there just right to get it up in there. Anyway, that's one out. All right, so now that I got this thing out of here, let's have a look at it. So there's the mount that just came out, and it's kind of hard to tell when it was in there, but yeah, it is definitely ripped. It's torn right there. It's torn almost all the way through there. This other side, it doesn't look like it was connected at all there. That is just supposed to be a spacer. This top piece is still connected mostly, but it's starting to crack up there. But yeah, this bottom part right here is almost ripped completely through. So those were definitely in need of replacement. I don't know how bad they were before I replaced the transmission mount. Like maybe putting that stiff mount in there has put more pressure on these. That's very possible, but they're also pretty old. This Jeep has got about 170,000 miles on it, and if these are the originals, it's no surprise that they got some wear on them. So I'm gonna try and get the new one in there now. Here's a comparison between, there's the old mount, which has got, you know, the rubber and a lot of space around it. This is the new mount from IronMan4x4. You can see the rubber is smaller, but it's also solid rubber, doesn't have this airspace, so they're definitely not going to flex as much. And one of the things that putting stiffer motor and transmission mounts into your vehicle does is it is actually going to cause a lot more vibration and noise you're going to feel in the vehicle. I could feel that already after I replaced the transmission mount. There's definitely, you know, more vibration there than I used to have, but that's the price you pay for having the stiffer and sturdier mounts that hold up better to the torque and stress of off-roading. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a good trade-off. So I'm going to go ahead and try and get this one in. So the other thing I noticed, there's definitely a left and a right mount, and the top and the bottom on each of these is different. You notice the bottom two is a lot closer together, so those two right there go at the bottom, the other one goes at the top. So it should be able to just slide right up in there. Just like that. Okay, I'm gonna put one of these bottom bolts in so it'll kind of sit in there by itself. And then I'm gonna try and get that top bolt in, because that is that fun one. And then I got to try and get the engine jacked up enough to get this in, so that should be fun too. Ah, this wire is like right in my way. I can just about, there we go, I can get my fingers in there. There we go, perfect. If I can just get that started, perfect. There we go. Get the other one started, and then we'll figure out that big through bolt. All right, do that again. There you go. A little bit more. A little more. A little more. Okay, hold it. Let me look at the front, because we got it almost in just with that. Oh, it's so close. I bet you if I tap it with a hammer when you do that, it'll go in. Because it's like just barely on that bracket. Ready? Yep, go ahead. One. Oh, actually, hold on. I can just tap it in with a hammer. Okay, good. There we go. We're good. So now I just need to tighten those down.
Actually, that was pretty quick.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It either goes quick or takes the day.
Yep. So all we did to do that was bounce on the bumper and that brought it down just enough to push that through. So I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna tighten all these up. According to the information, they're all 45 foot-pounds, so.
You know what, I would not tighten them yet.
No? Until you do the other side?
Until all bolts are
Okay,
in.
yeah, that's probably a good idea. All right, that's a better idea. So I'm just gonna put this on. I'm gonna put those in a little bit more because I only just barely started them. Yeah. And I don't want them falling out or anything or snapping off. So, all right, cool. Well, let me do that and then we'll move over to the other side. All right, so on this side, same thing. Just looks like right there. I don't know where that top one is, so that might be interesting since I can't seem to find it. Oh, there it is, way up there. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. I should be able to go straight in behind that bracket and then over here and probably on the outside of the bracket. I don't know, I can't see it, but nope, that one looks even worse. Yep, so that one, that rear top one, I don't think I'm going to be able to get a socket on. It's behind the you can kind of see, I don't know how well you can see on the camera, but like this this bracket goes up and then there's a piece right here that comes out. Well, the other one's like that too, and the nut is like right behind this part. Not that there's a hole right there, but it's not big enough to get a socket through, but I'll figure it out. Alright, so all the bolts are out. This thing should, yep, just fall out. Don't want to mess that up. That's my O2 wire. Same thing on this one. This side's not as bad. Not quite as bad, but it's definitely starting to rip. You can see, yeah, right there along the bottom. I don't know how well you can see because the shadows of my arm's in the way. There we go. Anyway, you can see right there along the bottom, this one's definitely starting to rip too, so not as bad as the other side, but needs to be replaced. Alright, so looks like everything goes behind it except for the O2. So all these wires are behind it. If I have this in here, I don't know if I have it in the right, I might have it upside down. I think I do. Yep, that fits a lot better. Okay. Okay, these are the two easy ones. All right, we got one side done. There's what it looks like all finished up. That's the new mount. Bolt going through all of those. The top bolt, I had to just kind of crank on to what I thought was good, but the torque on these is only 45 foot-pounds, so I think it'll be good. So now I'm going to do the other side. All right, other side's back in. All nice and good and shiny up in there, looking nice. So all in all, that wasn't too terrible. Definitely leave the bolts that connect to the engine loose and then put the through bolt through, because you got to be able to jiggle it around to get that through. But other than that, pretty straightforward. So I think that'll do it. Thanks for watching.